You like me?
Right. Good stuff, huh? So the last few folks that we're going to have with us this morning, starting kind of with Dinesh, and as we have our conversation here, and then the next panel we've kind of moved from pure policy in the previous couple of days, more into activism. As kind of blending or bleeding into policy, and now into culture informing activism and influencing policy. And so a lot of folks will recognize the name Dinesh D'Souza, seen his documentaries, etc. But I want to ask a quick show of hands. Has anybody seen the movie Unplanned? Anybody at all? Anybody seen this movie? I'll tell you what, it is a treat for us to have Carrie Solomon and Chuck Konzelman with us. These are the directors and producers of this movie that I believe not only is important in 2019, but I think 10 years and even 30 years from now truly may be this may be one of those bubbles on a timeline, on a historical timeline of the United States. And so, as we launch into not only talking about Unplanned, and we'll discuss a little bit some of the other movies and programming that y'all have worked on, but I wonder if you could speak to us a little bit, and either one of you guys, Chuck or Carrie, how did you get into this, and how did you recognize in your own career, maybe even on life, the power and importance of media and television and film to be able to influence thought and ultimately people's lives?
You know, it was a God thing. We were just going along in our life, going down the road, and then all of a sudden we found ourselves in California, in Los Angeles. And one day we had a successful business, and then one day I looked at Chuck and I said to him, "Do you want to go to California? You want to go to Los Angeles? You want to go to Hollywood to make movies?" That was it. And he said, "Yeah." Our girlfriends didn't like that idea at all. You know, our lives were upheaved in an incredible way. And, we had just built a business over 5 or 6 years, and now we would sweat and went through all kinds of things, and now we're going to stop that and go to Hollywood. And to be honest, I had no compunction to make movies. Chuck didn't have compunction to make movies. We were happy in our life, but when the Lord wants you to get busy, He brings it. And all of a sudden, I find myself in a Jeep dragging a U-Haul across America, and you're not supposed to do that, by the way. You're not supposed to fill it because there's up and downs, and we went through mountainous areas, and they said, "No, don't do that." We did it anyway. And we ended up in California, in Los Angeles, and we just suddenly realized. But over a period of time, I will say, with all the amazing speakers we have here, and with everyone that has spoken the truth, this is an amazing event, if you think about it. Just an amazing event, and thank God. And we are very honored to be here, because thank God we can still gather like this in this country. Because I will tell you, in the making of Unplanned, you would not think that was possible in America. The censorship, the hate, the anger, the battle was fierce. One of the things that I was talking about backstage was, in 50 years we've been fighting the abortion issue, and you have conservatives and liberals. And if you really look in that 50 years, have we made a dent? Yes. But abortion is still here, and the numbers are increasing, right? You make one movie, and now the numbers are decreasing. We have 2 and 3 abortion workers a day calling up to get out of the abortion industry. A house divided against itself cannot stand. The abortion industry is divided now. One movie. That is the power of the media. And we need to take the media back. And one of the things that Dinesh said that I thought was very interesting, he said, they own Hollywood, and he is right. They own everything. But there are people like Dinesh, like us. Maybe some of you get the Spirit upon you to do this, who are fighting the good fight. And we are getting stronger. And so what I bring to you today is hope. And I will tell you that Chuck and I are like profoundly affected by what we've seen.
To put it in neo-Marxist terms, we are seizing the means of production. And
We're going to have a breakout session on neo-Marxism later.
conservatives and people of faith, who are often the same people, are actually starting to realize the power of media. You know, it's 2,500 years since Plato tried to ban stories and drama from his idea of a perfect republic. Not because he didn't like them, but he said they're too powerful. They make people do things based on emotion rather than logic. And the other side has always known this. I mean, it's a quarter century since If These Walls Could Talk hardened the pro-abortion views of a generation. But now that's changing. And the battle's not, I mean, we faced tremendous obstacles. The MPAA, which is chaired by a former Obama administration official, an assistant secretary of state, assured us firmly and repeatedly in the press as well that it was not a political decision to give us an R rating. I'm not so sure. And you know, Google wouldn't accept our advertising. Cable television, other than Fox News and CBN, wouldn't accept our advertising, and yet the word got out because,
Right.
Amen.
Yeah.
because of folks like you.
So, Unplanned, and then tell us a little bit about some of your previous projects also that I think a lot of people know or associate them. And I want people to understand that success tends to kind of breed success. And so talk about some of your previous movies and how you feel like that maybe there's momentum not only in your own kind of filmmaking and kind of production, but also maybe within the industry. And then also maybe as it's impacting other filmmakers, you know, newer, younger filmmakers that are just getting started or aspiring filmmakers.
We've been in the business for 30 years. The first 15, 16, 17, we were on the secular side. That's the funny thing about the way the Lord works, but I never realized I'd be doing what I'm doing now. And I will tell you, it's the most gratifying thing in the world. Fighting for God, fighting for country, fighting for family, doing what He's called us to do. So we feel the Spirit speaking in a profoundly powerful way. And it's probably why the Lord had us make God's Not Dead and God's Not Dead 2 and various other movies, Do You Believe, and so on and so forth. We were starting to see a call to fight the culture war. And I just want to say this. I know maybe I'm not supposed to say it, but we are, you know, people use that phrase really lightly, culture war. No. You know, if you really think about it, this is more than a culture war. This is war, absolutely. It's different, though. We don't fight this war with bullets and tanks and planes. We fight it with the media and with manipulation. And in the overall battle, we don't see people getting exploded and dying in the streets. But if you really think about it, our death is a slow one. It's an asphyxiation. It's a choking of our moral values, our traditions, all that matters to us. This enemy is after your family. They want to destroy your children. They want to asphyxiate us with sin. They want to bring in the perversion through the altar in our house, and the altar in our house is our TV now. George Lucas in the movie theaters, in the movie business, George Lucas said that they are now the church. George Lucas made Star Wars and Indiana Jones. Mm-hmm. He says, we have become the church. What a bold statement. Think about that, but sadly it's true. The media is the church, because you cannot deny to me that nothing is as powerful as the media. Nothing. Look what they have done to us. We are the deplorables. I am proud to be a deplorable. Okay?
And in case you don't believe that they're ranged against you in this fight, it's within the last month we're in business with a guy who was in the room at the first ever demonstration of proof of concept of recording TV to a hard drive in the home in 1993, what became TiVo and all that stuff. Parental controls have not improved in all that time, and it's because the industry has decided that parental controls on televisions should be as hard to program as possible. I want you to think about that.
Now, why would you do that? If you have any moral fiber at all, why would you want children to see things that they're not supposed to see? Last week on TV, there was a program called, I believe it's called Good Omen. And this is going to stand some of you up, but I think you need to hear this. They had 30 penis shots in that movie, and it's for teenagers.
That was a different one. That was a different one. That's with the friendly Antichrist.
Right. I mean, and they wanted 80. Now, why parental control? Why is that forbidden to us? So there are people like us out there that are trying to put that into place. You have to realize that we're in a war. You have to get fired up. You have to fight this battle. They're going to take away our God, our country, and our family. And then we're going to say, how did that happen? Well, it goes back to, the frog in the hot water in the bowl. You put a frog in boiling water, he jumps right out. You put a frog in water and you turn up the degrees, 1 or 2 degrees every 3 or 4 minutes, he stays in the water. America is staying in the water. We have to stop that. And the media is the most powerful way to do it. Media can make or break a person. That's what I love about Donald Trump. They can't break him. And it defies sense. I believe personally that he was ordained, sent for a time such as this.
So one of the fascinating elements that even I think even Dinesh just alluded to, a lot of people attribute what we see in among kind of the Christian community or the conservative community to Donald Trump. But honestly, as me and our team interact with the president and his senior officials, they're keenly aware that in actuality, it was the Christian conservative community that actually created or enabled Donald Trump. They recognize that it's people like this who exist, who want to live out their values, or at least not be squelched in their beliefs or in values. Mm-hmm. And similarly, I think there are some in the media that are elite. It's difficult to acknowledge when you've made 4 blockbuster movies that nobody wants to see this stuff. The Kendrick brothers or other Friends of Faith and Freedom Coalition have now made 4 consecutive blockbuster movies. Right. But it's hard for media officials to say, you know what? All right, you're spending $6 million in a movie and you're making $50 million. Somebody's going to make that movie. So speaking as we wrap up, tell us a little bit, what can we do as believers, but also just as consumers, to actually embolden and enable not only Donald Trump's in political arenas, but also you guys in media arenas? How can we strengthen and amplify this?
That's fairly easy. The box office talks. But I'm not telling you, by the way, and I do believe this is important. If a movie is trash or no good, if a Christian movie is made and it's bad, you don't need to say it, because that would only endorse bad Christian movies. However, if a movie is good, you need to say it. You need to support that. Unplanned was, in my opinion, morally, spiritually, and profoundly well done good, okay? So you can go to the movie theater, you can tell people, you can buy it on DVD, it'll be out August 13th. And just to tell you how hungry the world is, we are getting calls from all over the world. And the media will not tell you this. Every country on the face of the earth is rallying around the movie. Every single country. I was with a pastor a week ago, and we are doing a 1 million-man movie premiere, the largest movie premiere of Unplanned in Pakistan. Now you're going to say, why Pakistan? And it is the largest pro-life, anti-abortion rally in the history of the world, the largest movie premiere in the history of the world, and it's in Pakistan for one reason, because 2 million Pakistani children are killed every year out of a population of 200 million. And so this country is first. He saw it and said, this pastor said, we need to end this. And now because of that, Mexico wants to do it. We want to do it here in Washington. We want to do it all across the world. But you are the warriors that help us. When we go to work every morning, it's hard. Look, we're attacked. Dinesh is attacked every single day. Our lives are at risk. And so what we ask you to do is support us, help us, save us. so we can save you. We are in this together. We are brothers and sisters. Think of it this way. The way I look, the way Chuck looks. Jesus, Trump, in my case, Irene and Michael. That's my wife and my son. Okay? And you guys, we're fellow Americans. Talk is cheap. It's what you do when you get out of here that matters. Help us help you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted.
Thank you, Ted.
Thank you so much. Bless you guys.